Welcome to another episode of the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Thank you for watching and for listening. And this is the podcast that celebrates fearless women making waves in music. Today's guest is a rising force out of rural North Carolina, an artist who blends pop hooks with rock grit and turns raw emotion into power. She's bold, honest, and unapologetically herself. At just 21 years old, she's already built a loyal following, lit up stages across North Carolina, played venues like Nashville's Opry Mills and the Electric Jane. Please welcome Scarlet Tantrum. Welcome to the Metal Queens
Hello,
podcast.
hello. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you here, a fellow North Carolinian too, as I'm based in
Yeah.
Asheville, North Carolina. All right, I'm going to start with your stage name. It's really unforgettable. Tell us how Scarlet Tantrum came to life and what that name represents for you as an artist.
Yeah. So I am a natural redhead, so I really wanted to have a stage name that kind of represented who I am and just what I look like, and I felt like Scarlet as a name represented my red hair. So I wanted to go with Scarlet and Tantrum. I was kind of sitting with like what would sound really cool and kind of really rockin', and I thought of the word tantrum, and I feel like that is really fitting for me with my music, but also with who I am. I'm a very expressive and passionate and emotional person. And I feel like although tantrum, when you think about it, is kind of like, oh, a child throwing a tantrum, but I think like whether you're angry or sad, I also think a tantrum can kind of just be a like a burst of emotion, whether that's uh being in love or full of joy or really any emotion that just kind of hits you because that's what emotion does for me. So
You're from a town called Carthage in North Carolina. What is life like there, and what was it like growing up there with dreams of being a performer and a rock star too?
I will say growing up in a small town made it kind of hard to for me to get out of my shell almost. I feel like when there's not a lot of other musicians around, it's I didn't get exposed to it up until I turned 17 actually, and I met some other musicians that were playing and gigging out and about. And growing up, I was super shy. Like I only liked to sing in the shower. I
Mm.
I I was just very very shy about putting myself out there, because I was just I didn't want to get turned down almost. I was just scared of not being accepted, but then I've always had a huge passion for music, but I feel like growing up in that small town, it does make it harder for you to feel like you can get out of your shell. Um, yeah,
Yeah, you didn't grow up in a musical household, yet you were drawn to
I did not.
music. You were drawn to music early on. What pushed you to start vocal lessons and chase that passion anyway?
Well, actually, my mom got me into lessons when I was
Mm.
young because, um, I always sang, and she could tell that I had a lot of potential, but she was like, "Girl, if you wanna be singing this much, let's put you in some lessons so you can learn how to use your voice." So she put me in with one of our really close family friends because she's a singer, and she knew how to sing properly and sing safely. And so she taught me all the different ways of how to use my voice to the best of its ability.
Now, you taught yourself ukulele at 13, got your first guitar at what, 16?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote and what it felt like to hear your own thoughts turned into music?
Um, I remember the first song I ever finished, and that was called Miles Away. I actually wrote it for my best friend who was moving from North Carolina all the way to California. So
Mm.
I wasn't going to see her for who knows how long. And I had a lot of anxiety about my best friend leaving. And so I wrote it for her, and it was just about how, hey, like, I know that you're going to be away, but you are always going to be like close to me and in my heart. I'll always be here for you. I'll always be thinking of you. So that song was called Miles Away. I actually think I might still have the video of me like singing it somewhere on my YouTube. Somewhere.
Let's talk about songs. The video for Covered in Red, it came out in January. Insignificant was your last single. What's the story behind Insignificant? And then we'll talk about the new one that's out now.
Yeah, so Insignificant is a very honest and very sad song. It kind of opens up about not feeling important to probably the one person that should make you feel important. And I originally wrote it about somebody that was in my life and I was in a relationship with, and they just didn't make me feel valued or that I was important at all to them. But actually, since it's been released, a lot of people have been saying that they relate to it in many other aspects, whether it's like not just like a significant other, but like maybe their parents not making them feel important. And I was like, wow, like,
Mm.
oh, that made me feel a lot of emotions when I was told that. And I just love that, you know, obviously I wrote this about a past significant other, but the fact that other people can also hear that and resonate it with, you know, other relationships that they have, I think is very sad but very beautiful.
Let's talk about the new one, Inside Out. What's the story behind that one?
Ooh, Inside Out is a love song. It's actually about being bisexual and realizing that you like women, and I feel like being, uh, in a relationship and maybe realizing that you actually like another person or a woman more than the person that you're with or, like, talking to, and that's kind of like the come to terms moment of like, "Wow, I just figured out, like, who I am," or it's kind of that light bulb going off in your head. And so that's what Inside Out is about. It's a love song. The chorus is look what you've done to me now. You're all I think about. Was lost, but now I'm found. Hearts burning from the inside out.
Mm.
So it's just kind of about me discovering this new thing about myself.
Let's talk about performing. A lot of artists struggle with performance anxiety. What helped you push through that fear and keep going, even when it was uncomfortable?
That's a great question. Stage fright and anxiety and all of that is something I've always struggled with, and I when I first started gigging when I was 17, I had to push myself through my panic attacks and through my tears. I would be on the way to my show about to sing and I would be crying on my way there because I was terrified, and yet I still showed up, I still got on that stage and I still sang. Like I just had to force myself to do it. And now I've been doing it so much that I'm comfortable with performing in front of an audience. And you know, I still to this day will get things that are way out of my comfort zone, and I get anxious, I get shaky. I feel like I'm about to cry and I just have to cry. I have to let myself feel that way in order for me to do it. There was actually one show I did where I had a panic attack on stage, and I still like had to calm myself down, and in front of the entire crowd I still sang and I still finished the show. So, at least for me, I've just had to, you know, talk to myself and admit like, "Hey, yes, I am anxious, but it's okay." That's what I've
Yeah.
had to do.
I've had a lot of artists on here. They'll say when they're on stage, they get in the zone. They get in their own world. They're in the zone. Was there a moment on stage, if you can remember, where you realized I belong here?
Yes. I feel like When I'm singing and when I'm holding a mic and just performing in front of an audience, I really do feel like it's what I'm meant to do. This is what I was put on this earth for. I mean, I he or singing and getting to sing my originals or even covers, I just feel like I can connect with people through my voice and through music. And sometimes even outside of that, I feel like tend to struggle, communicating or connecting with people normally. But when I'm on stage, it's so easy for me.
Mm,
It's crazy.
yeah. By the way, Scarlett's got some great cover videos too. Nirvana, Radiohead too, I saw. You can check those out on YouTube. Great job on those.
Thank you.
You have cited influences like Haley Williams, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Halsey too. What have you taken from each of them, not just musically, but artistically?
When I look at them as an artist, I see confidence, I see boldness, I see that they are not afraid to be out of the box, and I really do look up to them in that way, and how, like, that's what I want for myself. I don't want to feel like I need to be in this box or in this mold. And I also feel like being in a small town, I feel like having to be in that mold has made it a little bit harder to kind of get out of there. But whenever I see those women on stage or even in their songwriting, just seeing that they're not afraid to be out there and be bold and be confident and uplift and be influences and inspiring for other women and children too.
Scarlett, you have some singles out now. So what's the plan for the rest of the year? More singles? Are you building towards an EP or a full album this year?
Yes, for sure. There will be a couple more singles released, and then I will be wrapping them up into an EP.
All right, so we can expect an EP this year. Now, what about touring plans this year?
Touring plans, I do plan, I play all around the East Coast, and I also go to Nashville. But this year, my goal is to do a tour between like Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. And I want to take like a whole month to just like kind of hit a whole bunch of spots all the way from, the west side of the states all the way to the east.
Now, you've built a solid fan base through your live shows and social media. What's been the most surprising part of connecting with fans online?
Ooh, I feel like one of the most surprising things is really just seeing that people are connecting with my music and people can feel my emotions through my voice. I never really thought that like I could do that up until I started putting myself out on social media and in my live shows and stuff like that. And then people are like, "Wow, like I can feel your pain in your vocals." And that has been one of the most surprising things to me. Um and just getting to see that other people are getting inspired by what I'm doing too, and I love to help people out. Like, so many people ask me questions and ask for advice, and I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm here for it." Like,
Mm.
I was in that place too where I didn't really know how to start music, and I wanna be that sounding board for somebody else and just give them advice. And so when people are seeing me at my live shows, they're like, "How do you do all this?" Or when they see like me on social media, they love to ask me questions, and I just love getting to connect and give advice and do all of that.
She is bold, emotional, and proof that chasing your dreams, no matter how scary they are, can change everything. Make sure you check out Scarlet Tantrum's music, including the latest single, Inside Out, the other singles, the great cover versions too, all of her videos. Follow her journey and catch her live if she's coming through your area. Hopefully, that whole little Southeast tour there will be great later this year, and more new music to come from Scarlet Tantrum later this year and throughout the year as well. Thanks for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast, Scarlet.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everyone for listening.
Yeah, thanks for watching and for listening. This is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, write a review. I'm Steve Richards. I will talk to you again next time.